everyone, this is Tim from YourSixStudios. Today in this video, I'm going to go and show you how to put on back panels on your PlayStation 5 controller using the Extreme Rate Remap kit off of Amazon. So let's go ahead and jump in the video right now. So that is right, you can easily get back panels on your PlayStation 5 controller with this Extreme Rate Remap kit. Now there's other remap kits you can also get off Amazon, and they're all relatively similar. Now with this, we will have to go ahead and put on some of these ribbons on the inside of the controller, and we will not be doing any soldering in this video. So here's the actual back panel, and this is relatively what you get with the kit. So here's a new back plate in which we're going to screw the new panels onto. So the first thing we need to do is clear off our work area and then take apart our PlayStation 5 controller. Now it does come with a little screwdriver and a little plastic piece that will help you lift off the face cover on your controller. So this is what those look like right here. Now the first thing we're going to take apart is the face cover. So go ahead and flip your controller around and take this blue piece and just lift up from the bottom. And this should create a little bit of separation. Now this plastic piece is okay, but sometimes you may not get the best gap in there to lift up from. So just be careful and don't damage your controller. So let's lift up from the back here too. Alright, so that is now lifted up on both sides. Now create some separation on the bottom here as well. Perfect. And it may stick right around the touchpad area. That is fine. Just create some separation on the sides here as well. And then you should be able to just pull it off and pull it towards you. So this will remove the face cover here. And you may want to go ahead and spray paint this a different color. That would be really cool. I'd probably do mine blue. So now we have the controller looking like this. Now the next thing we want to do is remove the L1 and the R1 buttons right here. And these are relatively easy to remove. Just go into the middle of the controller just like this and lift up. And without too much effort, they should pop off. So one is removed, let's do the other. So let's do this side. Boom. So both those are removed. Let's put those to the side. Now when you take off those buttons, they will expose one screw here, another one, and then you have one here and here. So 4 in total. Now I suggest keep your controller kind of like this, facing down, so if you do take off the screw, it doesn't fall back into the controller. We can always get it later, but if you're going to be reassembling it, that can be annoying. So let's go ahead and take off all 4 of those screws and then proceed. Alright, so all my screws are now off. I'm going to put these to the side. Now what we want to do is create some separation from here all the way to the top on both of the sides. So let's start down at the bottom and work our way to the top. You can see there's a little gap in there now. Let's do it on this side now. Move all the way to the top. Just create a separation, and it may crack. That is fine. And it may go ahead and reassemble itself. That is fine as well. Now, if you focus down near the audio jack here, there's 2 little areas we want to go ahead and just push down, just like this. And as soon as you do that, your controller might try to come apart. That's fine. Now I'm going to flip my controller around just like this. And then I'll lift up. And boom, that came off relatively easy. So now that I have my controller and the cover removed, first thing I'm going to do is remove the battery right here. So let's lift up with the battery. Just move that to the side. Now you may be able to just reach in here with the hands and take this apart if you have really good fingernails. I'd suggest avoid pulling on the cables right here because you don't want to damage those, otherwise your controller may not start. So just try to grip it from the plastic. There is little areas on here that kind of have like a little side that you can kind of put your fingernails on, which could be relatively easy for you. Now that we have this like this, we can always remove this little cable right here. And I believe this is to the microphone. So you can move your finger in here and just lift this up, just like that. As you can see, that kind of came off. And you will want to go ahead and put this back on later, and this will go ahead and just sit right here. So I'm going to put this to the side. And then there's one screw for the housing for the battery. So let's remove that. Alright, and then I'm going to lift this up and put this to the side. Now there's 4 different ribbons that we want to remove. We got this blue one, and then the 2 sides, and then we have one down here. So let's go ahead and just remove this bottom one, the smallest one. That should come off relatively easy. Now let's remove the sides. So let's do that one, that one. Perfect. Now the 2 ones on the sides, we can completely remove those. So here's the blue one. So since we are putting new ribbon cables on the sides for the L1 and the R1 buttons, we're just going to completely remove these. So I'm going to grab that and lift it up, and those will become garbage now. Now we can flip this over. Be careful. And I just want to show you this. If this little speaker comes off, it just goes right here. And you are going to want to read the letters, just like this, the letters and the numbers, and then just put it back here with the rubber or the foam part facing you. That's where that will sit. Alright, now locate this ribbon. It will look just like this, and it's got some tape on it. Now this is going to go over this piece right here. And you're going to want to put it like this. So you got the tape facing you, looking at you, and then just put it over this piece. And there's going to be 2 little cylinders you can put it over. And this may be somewhat difficult to get it to just be flush on there. So I got one over, and then I'm just going to push it down a little bit more with my fingers. Alright, so this feels good right there. And I got it on there pretty good. Now, let's get this out of the way and put my thumbsticks back through. And watch out for the cables on the top. And then there's one little cable on the bottom here that you can barely see that you are going to want to keep on top of the board. So there it is. So if this cable isn't aligned correctly, you can always just feed it back through. And it should look like this. Then feed it through here again. And you should be able to just simply reinsert it. And it'll feed through the other side. And there's a little opening right here and a plastic piece you can catch. Then the other end you want to simply push in right here, and it should sit in there comfortably. And it kind of just looks like this. Now I have it fed through the other side. Let's flip this around and then plug it back in. So this should be easy. Just take it and feed it through. And you may have accidentally pulled it up, but it looks like it's still placed. Perfect. Now, let's go ahead and put the ribbons on the side back in. So I have this one right here, and this is the L1, it says. And what we're going to do is have the graphics, the lettering, face inwards, and this is the battery pack side where we disconnect the battery. And we're going to slide it in right here on the side, just like this. You can kind of see it. And we can wiggle it as we go down. Then we can flip it around just like this and connect this side to the board. Okay, so both those pieces are connected. Let's turn the board over and do the same thing for the other side. Now take your R1, R2 buttons, do the same thing. The graphics are going to be facing inwards towards you. Then the longer side will be placed in right here. So this one might be a little bit challenging to get. So it's just located right here on the side. It felt like it went in pretty good. Then fold it back over. Then connect this ribbon here to the board. And then just double check to make sure both sides are pushed in pretty good. Now remove these two pieces and put them to the side. When we put the battery back on, let's bring the plastic piece from the battery back over. Make sure those aren't in the way. Perfect. Now let's re-screw this on and kind of push this against the board here so it screws in flush and tight. Now we do have this one little speaker that we can reconnect and put on the bottom here. So let's bring this little wire back over if we did take this out. And that went in really easy, actually. And then let's take this and just set it back in here. Good, it's sitting in there. Now let's take our battery and then we can reconnect the battery. So the battery should go in pretty easily as long as you have it the right way. Alright, so my battery's now connected. Let's put it on the top here. So make sure this little cable's out of the way of the battery so it can sit in there. Now we have to connect both of the sides and then glue this to the battery itself. So let's take this glue off. Okay, so the glue is removed. Then I'm going to push this over and I'm going to put this right on here. Then I have to connect this side and this side. And some of these you may actually have to lift up and lock down. So as you can see, that lifted up. That lifted up. Perfect. So let's push this in here now. Okay, so that one went in. Let's fold it back over and close it. Okay, that should be locked into place. Let's do the same thing for the L3 button, or the L button. So that is getting pushed in. Seems like it's in. Let's push this back over now and lock it into place. Okay. And then let's push this under here. We'll need this for later. Otherwise, you can keep it under here. It doesn't really matter all that much. But that is what we needed to do on this side. We can reassemble the controller now. And put on the back button. So here's the back plate. And I'm going to put on the screws right now and the back plate itself. So take this little bag and open this up. See what's in here. Now for placing on the back buttons, we're looking for like the thicker black screws, the larger heads. And then we're going to need 4 of those. And then we can take these rods and we can put these to the side right now. I think they just give you a bunch of extra ones. So we should only need 2. Then locate this piece and align it with the holes on the back. So that looks good right there. And we can flip it around and then take the screws and then screw it in. So let's do that from this side here. So here's one screw. Okay, that's on there now. Let's do the remaining 3. Now locate one of your rods and then locate one of the paddles and then just feed it through the hole just like this. Try to even it out. Then place this on the back of your controller now. So I already have one kind of in just like that, and there's these little vice grips that you kind of want to place this in and then align it with the holes on there and then just push this down on there and it should snap in just like that. And this is what it looks like now. So here's the back plate. Locate your LED light and then come through the back here and put it in the hole. And there should be little 2 areas right here that should align up, and we could kind of like snap those down. So good, that's on. Now the power button right here kind of looks like this, and we want to place it in the hole right here. So let's align these, and it should push down once again too, just like that. Perfect. Make sure it's on there so it doesn't come off when you flip it over. Okay, now take your controller and the back plate and feed it through just like this. There should be an opening on the bottom. So it should come through. Now let's go just rest the cover on the back of the controller. And then we have this little cable just coming through. And we are going to want to take this little board that came with the package. And there is a little connection piece that we want to lift up on the back. And then we're going to want to lock that down once we reconnect this. So this is how it's going to be connected. So the gold pieces will be facing downward on the board. You can see it's lifted up. And all these holes will be at the bottom, and then we can connect it this way. You should feel it slide in. Okay, give it a good push and wiggle. Then clamp that down. And we want to feed this cable through here. And we're going to rest this right on top here. There's holes that are going to line with the board, the back plate. So let's just push this down. Now there's going to be 2 screws that you have to put in on the top, the thinner screws. So locate those and screw this down to the back cover. You can see the location of one of the screws. And this is a very thin screw. Now take your cover and place it on, and you can see the LED light right here. So you want the LED on the top. So let's connect this. Push it down. Perfect. Now see if there's a click. So I hear some clicking. Okay, so at this point you can just see if it's working since you don't have the controller completely reconnected and assembled. So let's just hold this down for about 3 to 5 seconds, the power button, and it should light up. Alright, so I see a light on there. Perfect. So let's just reassemble the controller completely now, and then I'll show you how to remap the buttons. So you do have 4 screws. You got 1 screw here, 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 and here. So let's go ahead and screw all those back in now. So I already have the L1 back on. So take the R1, flip it upside down here, and snap it on. Good. And then you should have some of the latches on the bottom right here. Just go ahead and make sure those are pushed down and tight and latched on. Make sure this is on here good. You heard Elden Ring on the background. So just get those latches on and put the face cover in the holes right here for these 2 ends, just like that. Bring it down like this, and it should snap on. Make sure this is snapped on everywhere and pushed down right here on the bottom. Good, so that's sounding good. Alright, so now to use this and operate it, to put it into the remapping mode, you will want to go ahead and press this button right here. So this is the remap button, not the power button, but it will turn on this little red light. When you see this little red light, you can remap your buttons now. So if you go to one of the buttons, so let's do this button. I believe it's the K1 button. If I hold this down and then hold down a face button, so let's do X, that light will go ahead and blink. So it's blinking. Now let's hold this button down and then O, and it's blinking. Now go ahead and press this remap button and the light will turn off. So when the light is off, you can use your buttons now. The light should turn off, and I'm jumping now on my screen. Let's see if I duck. Yep, and I'm moving back. So that is how you operate it and use it. So hopefully this video did indeed help you out. If it did, go ahead and leave it a big thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel down below for more tech help videos coming up next on YourSixStudios.